What's up, guys? I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Heather C. So Smothered is finally back after a week of it not being on with no explanation. So TLC, if you want to explain to us where the show was, we would love to know. So I want to check in with Christina and Kathy. This is episode 6 of season 4, if I didn't say, and they are back. And if you remember previously, Christina had already agreed to expand the restaurant with her husband Carlo, and everything was good to go. And Kathy made a vow on the show. She said, I am going to stop this expansion from taking place, and I'm going to use the most powerful weapon that an Italian mother has. And she said that that was guilt. So she came over to Christina's house and she taught her girls how to make meatballs, and she explained to her the importance of being there for your kids, and she did it. She has now gotten Christina on her side, and now she doesn't want to go through with the expansion, and Carlo feels this is so typical. He was like, as soon as your mom gets involved in our marriage, things start blowing up and you're on her side. And how do you feel about this? Do you think that the expansion is a good idea? Do you think the expansion is a bad idea? Or do you think it's just timing?
Well, as a fellow Italian woman and mother, I see where she's coming from. I mean, we were instilled such a young age that family is everything. So it's not uncommon to want to do things, be traditional, make dishes together and stuff. And I think like Kathy was trying to show Christina, like, this is what your main focus should be. Like when you were little, I did this with you, and now you do it with your kids because in a blink of an eye, they'll be grown up. I don't think that the expansion is a bad idea, but I think that Carlos might want to think about hiring outside of the family, or maybe seeing if any of his friends or anything could help, because I understand they want to keep it as a family business, but he's not like really thinking of the bigger picture. Like she takes on a lot of stuff as the role of the wife, the mother. She doesn't just ride around town with her mom all the time. She, has a lot going on in her household, and you don't want to overwhelm or stress out the person. So I think like, cause I don't want to say that this is his dream and she's supporting him. I feel like this is a team effort, but I do feel that it's also a give and take. I think by her telling him, her feelings, he shouldn't just automatically blame Kathy for it. Because even though he's in his feelings, he should look at it and be like, wow, she took on a lot. Maybe she just has a lot going on.
Yeah.
So expand, but maybe look at other ways of doing it.
I like that idea a lot because, like you said, since the idea came from Kathy, he completely shot it down. He didn't even want to talk about it. He didn't want to hear it out. And I feel like that's from years and years, of having Kathy as your mother-in-law. And I want to point out one thing real quick. Kathy is not a monster-in-law. Kathy is a really good mother-in-law. And I think Carlo needs to realize that it could be much worse. There are men living with monster-in-laws who are literally ruining their relationships. Kathy is just really invasive in the relationship, but she's not doing anything to hurt anyone. She is definitely there and she's trying to help.
Her job is to meddle. That is what she was put on this planet for. So she is only playing her part and keeping, her daughter in check and everything. So right on, Kathy. I'm with you on that one.
So speaking of meddling, I want to talk about Soon-hee and Angelica. So we found out that Soon-hee loves 3 things on this episode. She loves Amara, she loves Angelica, and she loves shopping. Those are her 3 things. So if you want to get to Soon-hee's heart, this is how you're going to do it. So we're watching them have a conversation about what happened with Jason's dad. And Soon-hee feels that she was treated very harshly during this meeting. And I kind of agree. To tell someone that they're not wanted, not needed, and then teaming up on someone is not the best way to go about getting your point across. I do know it's pretty common when you have a child and you're together. And speaking of which, they were supposed to get married on this day of this conversation. So this was very serious. But I feel like they definitely need that space. And even Jason said things are much better when Soon-hee takes a vacation, she takes a trip, she goes out and she does things, and they just have each other. because his main issue was he said that Amara runs to Soon-Hee before she'll run to Angelica or Jason. So she has a super close bond, which there's nothing wrong with that bond, but you do want your daughter to have that close bond with you, right?
Yeah, but I think that it's just because of the environment that they're in. You know, when children are little, their brains are developing and they only know what they're familiar with. So she knows that that's not her mom. She knows it's her grandma, but grandma is always there. She takes naps with her. You know, like she said in the one episode, that's like her little spoon. She likes to spoon with her, and they go shopping together. They watch TV time together. So there's like a lot of one-on-one time spent. So of course it's going to be natural that she looks at her grandma as kind of like a safety net
Mhm.
and wants her around because she's around a lot. My thing with Jason is that and this is no disrespect at all, but for what I gather from watching him on these seasons, I don't doubt that he doesn't not love his child. I just feel like he wasn't necessarily ready for fatherhood. And I think that's where Sun-Hee is getting at. She's like, you know what? It took forever for you to get a divorce. You gave my daughter the runaround. And then, she wanted to marry you and, she had your baby and you can't even put your video game down long enough. Like he got home from work. He did stop in and say hi or whatever. I'm going to go shower. But it's like, where's his little kiss to his daughter? Where's him talking to his daughter directly? Like, I know for myself, and I'm not going to speak on other people, but like if I'm at work or I'm whatever, the first thing I do is speak to my kids. I want to say, hey, and it doesn't matter how old they get. Just to say, I'm thinking about you. Hi, how are you? Address them, especially at her age. She's so little, insert yourself in there more. Go over, give her a hug and kiss. Daddy missed you. Okay, I'm going to go take a shower, hang out with mommy and grandma, just like that interaction. He was just like, hi guys, I'm going to go take a shower. Like, where's like the hi to the little one, and I think that like that's the biggest thing that I noticed. And whether he's like that or not in real life, I don't know. I can only go off of what TLC shows us on the show, but every time they do, it just seems like he's so disengaged. You should never have to tell a parent when it's time to change a child's diaper. You know what I mean? Like when it gets too full or whatever. Like I don't know. I see where Sunhee is coming from. She only wants the best for her daughter and her grandbaby. And I think she believes that Jason isn't it. But maybe if Jason would just mature more and put more effort into his relationship and not free time and video games or whatever, then she might change her mind.
It's been a while. And I think that's where Soon-Hee is coming from. Like, it's been years. And it's like, you get to know someone and people do evolve and they change and they progress. But she's just not seeing that change and progression. And is it fair that he wants Angelica to choose between him and her mom? I don't think that's fair. And I think that Jason will really understand if Angelica was to pick him over her mom and soon he was gone, he would have to pick up so much slack because Angelica says she cooks for you, she cleans for you, she does your laundry, she takes care of your child, she runs this house while we're both at work. If we were to remove her from this relationship, the implications of that would be massive and great. And I wonder if their relationship is strong enough to function without the help that they receive from Soon-Hee, because he looks at it as a negative thing, but the help that she gives them is actually helping their relationship flourish. It's less responsibility that they have to have on their own. So I definitely think that they should rethink how her role affects their relationship, because even though he feels it's a negative effect on their relationship, it might actually be helping them stay together and making them stronger, which could in the end be bad because they should be doing these things on their own, but they're building their foundation together and soon he is helping them do that. So I definitely want them to really appreciate what they have and definitely not tell her get out of the house or you shouldn't be here or you're negatively affecting the way things go in the household, because that's not just hurtful, but I really feel like it's not really true.
Exactly. I think that he needs to do some more growing and maturing, and that if he completely kicked her out the picture, I don't think that it would last because he wants to be in the honeymoon phase when they're past that. Even though they're not married, they're past it. They have a baby. So he needs to put himself in dad mode, and he needs to step up and show Angelica and Soonhee that he's there and he's ready to be a good father.
All right, guys, that's for part one. We're going to come back with part two. We're going to talk about the aftermath of the pushing in the pool situation with Dawn and Sherry. And we're going to talk about Francia and Paula because there's a trip to Colombia coming up, and Paula is not excited that her mother is leaving her to go to Colombia. All right, guys, I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Heather C. This is the Smothered Podcast, Season 4, Episode 6, Part 1. We'll talk to you all really soon.